Hi there, I'm Ray Campbell. I'm an ambassador at the Botanic Garden at Oklahoma State, and here are your tips for the garden for November. In your lawn and turf area, now's the time to fertilize cool season grasses such as fescue using 1 pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. Also, continue to mow fescue as needed at 2 inches and water during dry conditions. Also, now's the time to begin controlling broadleaf winter weeds such as dandelions. Check our fact sheet HLA 6601. And finally, keep falling leaves off fescue, especially newly seeded fescue, to avoid damage and smothering to the foliage. Your tree and shrub tips in the garden for November are the following. You can now prune bleeder trees like maples, elms, and birch in the early part of winter. Prune only for structural and safety purposes. Wrap young, thin-barked trees with a commercial protective material to prevent winter scald. Now's the time to also apply dormant oil for scale-infested trees and shrubs, doing this before the temperatures fall below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Be sure to follow label directions, as with all pesticides. And finally, for trees and shrubs, you can continue to plant bald and burlap trees. Water thoroughly after planting. Here are some tips for the flowers in your landscape. Tulips and other spring flowering bulbs can still be planted successfully through mid-November. Be sure to leave foliage on asparagus, mums, and other perennials, as this will help insulate crowns from harsh winter conditions. In the fruit and nut orchard, delay pruning fruit trees until next February or March, just before bud break. You may also harvest pecans and walnuts, or should harvest pecans and walnuts immediately after falling to eliminate deterioration of the kernels. And finally, some miscellaneous tips in the garden for fall, and particularly in November, that you may want to be doing. Gather and shred leaves, add to compost, use as a mulch, or grind and till into garden plots. Clean and store garden landscape tools. Coat with a light application of oil to prevent rusting. Be sure to drain fuel tanks in your small equipment, irrigation lines, and hoses, and be sure to disconnect hoses from outside faucets before freezes. Bring hoses indoors to prevent winter freezing. Fall is a beautiful time in Oklahoma, and especially in the gardens. Now that leaves are beginning to turn, be sure to get out and enjoy our beautiful fall foliage color. Drive through the mountains, or drive through the prairies, or just visit a botanic garden in your area. I'm sure you will get a great deal of enjoyment out of seeing the foliage in Oklahoma this fall. I'm Ray Campbell, ambassador at the Botanic Garden at OSU.